Now here's the latest in our Road to Cheltenham feature. I'm joined on the phone by Pricewise's Tom Segal, who's looked back at all the big races over the Christmas period with a view to the festival in March. So Tom, let's start with the Lexus Chase, won of course by Tidal Bay. And which horse did you take out of that race in particular?
Well, a few things. The first thing I thought was that what a fantastic horse Flemenstar is, Rob. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He jumps as well as any staying chaser I've ever seen. Now, I say staying chaser because that's sort of in inverted commas at the moment. I still think he's worth a try at staying trips. I thought he pulled too hard. He was too keen. He was taking his jockey into the fences the whole time. You know, that's not how you win staying chases. You've got to conserve your energy. If he can harness his enthusiasm at the early part of his race, I don't see 3 miles being a problem at all. After all, he's only beaten half a length on, to say he didn't stay, he's only beaten half a length. So I'm a massive Flemenstar fan. I don't see him winning a Cheltenham Gold Cup. That's the problem for him, because...
Possibly for the Gold Cup there, and Flemenstar for the Queen Mother, do you think?
If he was mine, I'd run him in the Queen Mother, yes, because I just think that would be I'm one of those guys I love 2 mile chasers, so I'd love to see Sprinter Sacre versus Flemenstar, maybe even Grand Cru thrown in the mix. That would be fantastic for me. I think that would be the race of the festival. I don't think they'll go that way because I think they'll run him in the Hennessy in Ireland if he wins that, and I think he probably will. So I think they'll ride him a bit differently. I think they'll have to go for the Gold Cup then.
OK, let's move on to the winner, Tidal Bay. What do you think, Gold Cup or World Hurdle?
I personally can't see him winning a Gold Cup unless it's bottomless ground. Now that obviously has a chance of that happening, and also got away in the Ruby Walsh factor. I thought Ruby was fantastic. Absolutely the best jockey I've ever seen over fences. I thought he was brilliant at Leopardstown with a couple of victories there. He might not ride him. You know, a lot will depend on what happens coming up to me. If Silviano Conti or whatever it's called is still in the mix, there's a chance Ruby could ride him. There's other horses floating around. So if Ruby's not going to want to ride Tidal Bay in the Gold Cup, I think that'll be a massive detriment to his chance. Therefore, I can see Ruby wanting to ride him in the World Hurdle. I think that's probably what he came out and said afterwards. He's got Corvega for the mares, Silviano for the Gold Cup, so maybe he's thinking about Tidal Bay for the World Hurdle without big bucks out the way. To be perfectly honest, I'd go for the Gold Cup. It's the best race, but that's totally up to them.
Staying with the Gold Cup, Tom, let's move on to Long Run, winner of the King George course. Would he be on your mind for the Gold Cup?
Look, he's got to be on anyone's mind. He's won it. He's finished third, I think, last year. He's won 2 King Georges, been second in another. He's obviously one of the best chasers we've seen for years. I mean, he deserves his place on the, at the dinner table with Corto and Denman. I just can't warm to him. There's something about him that the mistakes he makes, the sort of grinding nature of him these days. I think he's lost a bit of speed. It was interesting to read Barry Geraghty the other day was saying that he thinks Cheltenham will suit him better now than Kempton does. That seems strange to me because he's absolutely brilliant form at Kempton. He's won the Feltham, 2 King Georges and been second to Corto Star in another. So he's got brilliant form there. Never quite been as good at Cheltenham, I never thought, despite winning the Gold Cup. He's had a few under par performances there. But that might be the case. Maybe he's just an out-and-out stare these days. So yeah, he's got to come into the frame. He's not the type of horse I would ever back at a short price. I do think there's some issues with his jockey. I hate to say it, but I do think there's something there that the more people talk about it, I've never really been lent either way, but the more people talk about it, the more pressure is put on Sam, and I think that that won't be helpful to the partnership come Cheltenham. Therefore, I'd look elsewhere, but I'm not going to sit here and say Long Run can't win, because of course he can.
OK, Tom, were there any other chasers that caught your eye over the Christmas period?
Yeah, there is one, but he ran over hurdles, to be honest, Rob. Prince de Beauchesne won a hurdle race over 2 miles at Limerick over Christmas period, and he was mightily impressive. He's a really good horse, this. If Willie Mullins trains him for the Grand National, I think he's the one to beat. I really do. Obviously, he has no national experience, but I just think he's a Gold Cup horse. I think he's that good, and I think Tidal Bay is going to run in the Grand National. She'll keep the weights down for the likes of his owner mate, Prince de Beauchesne. On his own's another one from the same yard owned by Graham Wiley. But I'm a massive Prince de Beauchesne fan. He beat Salou Flo, who won a Cheltenham race over 2.5 miles at Haydock a few years back when trained by Howard Johnson. I think he's improved massively for William Mullins. He was really impressive, beating a decent field over hurdles over 2 miles at Limerick over Christmas. I think he really is a horse to keep on the right side of.
Well, that sounds very interesting. Moving on to the hurdlers now. Who would you have for the champion hurdle between Darlan and Hurricane Fly?
Definitely Darlan. Definitely Darlan. I just like up-and-comers. I think horses that have been there, been there, done it, and then lost the crown, regaining it's quite tricky. It's just very hard to do. I think there's, he's now, Hurricane Fly is now facing a whole new sort of raft of up-and-coming horses, Darlans, Arcanda, all those type of horses that are coming to the fore, Grand Bouet. And there might be a little bit better than the horses he was beating when he won his champion hurdle. Now, he looked really good at Leopardstown once again, but he was only beating the horses we know he's better than. I know the stable think he's back to his best. They didn't think he was quite right for Cheltenham last year. If so, he's clearly a great horse, Hurricane Fly, great chance. But I just like up-and-comers. That's how I sort of work. That's my modus operandi, looking for someone to improve, to be better than the existing rank and file. Consequently, I like Darlan. I thought he was really impressive at the Christmas hurdle. He's a really big, strong horse. Doesn't jump as well as his stablemate Binocular did, who went on to win the champion. It's interesting. They're very interesting horses, those two, because they both got very similar profiles. They both got beaten in the Supreme Novices hurdle, and then the following year, Binocular came on to win the champion hurdle. Darlan's trying to do the same. I think he's got to be very high on anyone's shortlist. The way he went through the Christmas hurdle at Kempton was exceptional. And there were doubts about him last year when he won a small race at, I think it was Taunton or Ludlow or somewhere, and he looked really difficult. He didn't do much when he hit the front. He looked like a bit of a soft horse. But those fears have all been waylaid since, and his last 3 runs have been exceptionally good, including his win at Aintree and then his win at Kempton. So yeah, he'd be right at the top of my list.
Talking about up-and-comers, from a novice point of view, Jeski was very impressive, wasn't he?
Yeah, Jeski's a good horse, isn't he? I'm slightly concerned about all this sort of really heavy ground form in Ireland at this stage of the season. He's had quite a few runs now. I don't think there's that much between him and Champagne Fever, who won, who he beat in the 2 starts ago. Yeah, he was really impressive. He's clearly a very good horse. I'm just slightly concerned that there might be something with a bit more speed come the Supreme, but at the moment he's the leader in the clubhouse.
As they run up towards the finish, and Jeski extends his winning run to 4 in a row and wins with some style, the Paddy Power future champions.
And I asked you about the chasers. Was there anything else running over hurdles that winked at you?
I do like Takan de Soy, who won the Challow hurdle at Newbury as well. He's another horse that, these sort of staying races, the 2 mile 5 race at Cheltenham, tends to go to a horse that, like Takan de Soy, that's been winning throughout the season. It was Simon Sig last year and Fingal Bay and those sort of horses. I know Fingal Bay didn't win it, but those are the sort of horses that progress through the ranks. French Holly in the old days, lots of them, Barton. They all go on and win that race. Takan de Soy is the type of horse that should come right into everyone's thinking for I think it's the Neptune, is it now? But I like that horse. I think he stays well. I think he's going to be better on good ground too. Sort of got a bit clumsy at the last couple of hurdles at Newbury on Saturday, but he won so easily. I think he's getting better all the time. John Joe O'Neill, no better Cheltenham trainer than him, so he'd be right up there too.
And finally, Tom, I think I might actually know the answer to this, but which performance over the festive period really grabbed you more than any other?
Well, you might have. Prince de Beauchesne was the horse that really struck me. It's the sort of one that went under the radar. Obviously, there's all these great performances from Darlan and Long Run and Tidal Bay and all those. But I like horses that sort of floated under the radar. Prince de Beauchesne was one. And before I go, I must remember, and I'd nearly forgot another horse. There was a hurdler of Willie Mullins's that won at Leopardstown over Christmas at all, called Blood Cotil, I think it was, who was a juvenile hurdler, and I know they think a lot of that horse. I think he might be a Triumph Hurdle type horse. He won the graded race at Leopardstown over Christmas. I think he's going to be a lot better on good ground. He's got a lot of speed, a lot of pace. He's the type of horse that should go in other people's notebooks too.
Stockton's wing on the inside of Fisher and racing up towards the finish. It's Blood Cotil, the long odds-on favourite. 3rd time lucky of the afternoon for Paul Townend as Blood Cotil goes on to score, lands the odds for Willie Mullins. Blood Cotil wins Stockton's wings.